Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, your paranormal portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. Welcome to this side of the gate, and tonight we have some enlightened company. Tammy Knighton from the Enlightened Angels. She is the owner and operator at the Etsy shop under the same name, Enlightened Angels, and she is an intuitive, psychic. She is working on some new teachings, which I think is just awesome, and she has the most beautiful things that you can buy, and it's all based around blessed items, fantastic angel bracelets that are all been blessed and holy water, and she has bath bombs and things like that with holy water in them. She does angel card readings, she does spirit rescue, and she also goes into homes and businesses and helps people deal with what they're dealing with in their homes. So we would all like to welcome Miss Tammy Knighton. Welcome to this side of the gate, Tammy.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on this show. Appreciate it.
Oh, we are blessed to have you. It's so nice to get all the different perspectives. This is such an awesome topic, and, the paranormal has so many levels, and the supernatural has, it's just wonderful to talk a little bit about angels and spirit guides and helping spirit and helping others who might have a gift and trying to find their way with that. So we really are glad to have you on tonight. Thank you so much. Tell us a little bit, first off, what you do and about your Etsy shop, if you don't mind.
Yes, I do angel readings, and I work out of several metaphysical shops here in the state of Washington and the Northwest. I work at the psychic fairs. So I do angel readings, and I have a charm board that I work from also.
Do it via the phone as well. I know you have a lot of wonderful reviews that people were just able to call in and talk to you, which I just think is wonderful.
Yes, I'm trying to expand on that level too, doing a bunch of promotions right now, and I do have my Etsy shop, and I sell bracelets, and I bless them with holy water and good vibes and love and all that, great energy. And then I make bath bombs that are made with holy water also, so they're great for people who do this line of work too, very cleansing. And I also sell holy water too. A lot of times we use holy water on our investigations to help move spirits on. So I try to sell products, anything to do with angels and enlightenment and help anybody in their spiritual journey.
How wonderful is that? I'll tell you what, putting light back into the world, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
That's
I
right.
love you so much for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
Tell the listeners tonight a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, about when you first started sensing that you had a gift or that you had ability. Was it always just an intuitive sense? I know you also grew up in a family of intuitives as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I grew up in a family of intuitives. My mother was very intuitive, and growing up, she was very open-minded. So I was always into tarot cards and psychics, and always went to psychic fairs, that sort of thing. I didn't really start exploring it till I would say, almost in my 30s, and I started really going to and being more involved in it, taking classes, going to shows. I used to go to see Sylvia Brown. I loved going to her shows.
She was something, wasn't she? Yeah, she was something.
She was something, yeah.
She was in it for a long time, time.
I read so many of her books, and
Right.
I'd go to all of her shows every time she was here in Seattle. And so that really was the start of it. And another thing that was really the start of it was when I worked for the state of Washington. So I worked in a lot of state-run facilities. And so being around an environment, older buildings where there's a lot of spirits, I think it just opened my mind up to that. It was kind of a catapult. So this has been a kind of a slow process for me, very slow process actually. And then probably within the last 5 years, I really started meditating a lot and opening my mind up to these possibilities and slowing my mind down, listening to my guides and my intuition. So then I really started to go into the psychic fairs even more so. And then probably within the last 2 or 3 years, even more so. But I started working the psychic fairs is where I got my start. Mm-hmm. And then I started working at metaphysical shops in the area. For all that, I was working full-time doing that. But now I'm kind of more going online, doing readings online more so.
Yeah,
so
you're getting really busy, too. You're getting really busy, too. That's awesome. That's just wonderful.
Trying to expand my horizons, getting more of the paranormal investigations now, and I want to help as many people as possible.
And I think that's just wonderful. See if everybody did that, what a wonderful world, right? Now, the listeners are going to want to know a little bit about, now you do angel card readings, and I noticed that you were holding up some cards. She also does Facebook Live, everybody, so if you want to connect in to Enlightened Angels or Tammy Knighton on Facebook and hit your notifications. So I believe you're going to try to start doing that on Thursday nights, maybe? Maybe is coming.
Thursdays I'm shooting for.
Shooting for that. That's awesome. And you can just sit in on the Facebook Live and you can see all the different people. She can't do readings for very long on there because so many people come on. But I believe she's developing something where she can do some people and do a couple of cards just to give you an idea and a guide, But
I think I'm going to shoot for a few readings.
Yeah, something along those lines. But you can at least see, connect into you and get an idea how all this works, because she basically deals with her angels, yes, and your spirit guides, and they work together to help connect into the person's energy and give you pictures. Do you see pictures, or do you see it as like a movie, or do you see symbols? How do you see it?
So I see it's almost like a movie. That's why so I'm still working for my cards. I'm trying to get away from them. But what happens is I pull the cards, and then it creates like a vision. It's almost like a movie in a sense. And then it forms like a story in my head, and then I go from there.
I believe at one point in time you said your grandmother is also one of your guides now, and she's helped you an awful lot.
My grandmother helps me along. She comes to me, and then what happens is she'll come to me, and then she goes to my clients' guides, and then we talk that way. Now, sometimes I can raise my vibration, and then I go straight to the angels, and then I think that's when I get my visions more so. So, like when I'm getting the information, I typically communicate with my grandmother, who's my guide, and then she goes straight to their guides. But I can raise my vibration, and then that's when I go straight to the angels. And I know I'm there because it's like when I'm in the presence of angels, it's like being in the presence of, source, of God. It's like
it's a much higher vibration. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Nothing else. So that's when I get a clear picture exactly what I'm seeing at that point.
And
just to give me an idea.
Sure. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just for our listeners who are struggling to try to figure out what that means, if you think about a radio, and you're just basically tuning in that radio, and you're, I'm looking back at the old radios we used to have. I'm kind of up there. I'm an older gal. We used to have to really strain to get that signal just right. Well, if you look at, everybody has an energy. Every person carries their energy, and people resonate at different vibrations. Now, if you think about how I try to explain it, is if you have a the brightest light you can imagine into the darkest dark, okay, with no light whatsoever, and then that light You can call it source, you can call it divine, you can call it all-knowing, whatever you want to call it, the unconditional love and joy. And then you have the absence of all those things. And in between that, there's all these different vibrational levels, there's different frequencies. So if you're trying to connect in with an angel, that vibration is going to be much higher than trying to connect in with something on a lower vibrational level. That might be resonating in anger and hatred and, just mean, or whatever. And then there's even lower than that. So when you're trying to deal with those, that's why I was talking to somebody the other night and I said, well, if you want to play with a Ouija board, that's fine because it's just a board. You can write Sharpie on the floor and use a mason jar for all that cares. But if you're trying to connect with something and your vibration is low or you're working out of fear or, you're scared or you're angry or you have, basically I call it cracks in your windshield. Because if you've got cracks in your protection, you've got cracks in your own aura and your own self, and you get into that, your vibration is resonating out on a lower vibration, and that's what you're going to draw. So that's why it's dangerous. It's not because of the board. You could do it with anything. I mean, is that kind of right for you? I mean, are you kind of getting that?
Yes, and I found for me, the key to raising my vibration, and this is just for me, but I have found that meditation has been a key factor. And sometimes if I feel kind of down or my vibration's real low, a real fast way to raise it is like something as easy as humming.
Yep.
There's several techniques, but that's just a real fast one. And, we all have our moments, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So sometimes, like, before I do my shows, I'll try to meditate, get myself in a good spot. And like I said, if I need a quick pick-me-up, I can just feel I'm low, then I'll hum or something. But, to connect with angels, though, my vibration has to be pretty high. So it's interesting, though. It's a good visual, like if you think about the radio.
Yeah, and it's just like it is. It's very much like a tuning in. And, I've had a lot of people ask me, they said, well, what's a quick way to get your vibration up? Well, if you're all nervous and anxiety, whatever it may be going on in your day, it's very hard to just stop everything and, like, say, meditate or do fire gazing or whatever. So basically, it's just, look, if it works for plants, it works for humans. If a lot of harsh music and a lot of screaming and yelling will kill a plant, it's going to kill a human after a while. So put on some, like, really happy music. I tell people, dance barefoot in your kitchen to a really good tune.
Ground yourself even. I have a great grounding tool that works amazing for me.
And that is what?
Well, it's quite a lengthy thing, but basically I'll just sit, like, and you can do it in your house, but it's probably best if you do it outdoors, but just take your shoes off because it's important to connect with Mother Earth.
Yes.
Take your shoes off and then just put your feet on the ground and your hands in your lap and then just close your eyes and just visualize yourself as like a tree. And then in your feet are like the roots of the tree, right?
Yes.
And as you're connecting with Mother Earth, just visualize your roots like going down into the earth and going down into the dirt and into the rocks and going deeper and deeper. And then you're to the core of the earth. And as you're going deeper and deeper, imagine yourself like releasing all your anxieties, all your fears, all your depression or whatever it is. Unhealthiness, whatever that is, releasing that. And as you're doing this, take a deep breath in and then take a deep breath out. Just keep breathing, though, and releasing and releasing. And as you do that, so release everything. And once you release everything, then imagine, breathe in. And as you're breathing in, you're taking in all of the white light and the good energy and you're everything good. And you're taking that in and you're healing. And then you're grounding. In that moment, you're grounding yourself and connecting with Mother Earth. And then you'll feel so much better.
You do. And you're pulling
that as much as possible.
Right. Once you're putting all that negative down into the roots, going down into the earth, then you can imagine the white light coming up through the roots and up through your feet and up through your entire body, up into each one of your chakras and out through the palms of your hands, up into your head, and just surround yourself with that white light. Because for the listeners, the thing is this is the big secret. Nobody seems to tell you. It really is that simple. It really is.
It really. We have all the power within us.
Exactly.
Really, truly.
That's it. It is a big, beautiful, mystical, wonderful thing. And it can seem so big sometimes. But if you just bring it down to you and you know that you have that power to surround yourself with that white light. Yeah. I'm telling you what, I have gone to parties. Oh, we are. I have gone to, parties or gatherings or stuff, and I'm like, oh, man, I don't really want to, get into talking to the certain people or whatever. I imagine this bubble around me of white protection, and I say, no negativity can come in here. And I've had people literally, this has happened, walked right up to me getting ready to say something, stop in mid-word, and just look at me and change their mind. You could see their face go through these kind of changes, like they're thinking, and then just not even be able to say anything and turn around and walk away. And I just laugh because I'm like, man, that's awesome.
No, that's truly a great tool. And so I have another tool, too, for, it's basically the same thing, but it's just a little bit more of a visualization. So visualize yourself like in a light bulb, right?
Cool.
And you're in a light bulb. And you know where the top of the filaments are in the light bulb?
Yep.
Right there, Well, visualize, so source. So you're nice and safe in your light bulb. And the top of that light bulb where the filaments are, and they're dangling down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Source for God can come in. That's where God comes in and has a straight connection to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're nice and safe in there. And anything that's coming at you in that light bulb is like arrows shooting at you because you're nice and safe in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like arrows coming at you. And what happens? They deflect off the light bulb and head back the other direction, right? So any negativity, nothing can get you in your little safe light bulb.
Absolutely true.
It's the same. It's a visualization technique,
it is.
and that's how we protect ourselves.
Here's another one. I just gave this one to a friend who said, I can't do meditation. I don't know if I can do that. I'm not good at visualizing. I said, okay, well, you need a physical thing to help you then, because a lot of people, some people are better at visualizing and some people are better, to have something hands-on. So I said, okay, are you a shower taker? And he said, yeah, I don't take baths. I take showers every day. I said, good. Then what you do is you get in. You're already barefoot. Go in that shower, turn on the warm water, put your head under it, and your palms out against the wall. And I said, close your eyes and visualize the warm water as white light. And it's washing down over you, and all the negative is going down the drain. And just repeat your mantra that you are whole, and you are healthy, you are happy, you are divine.
Yes.
And divine works for anybody out there. We are not talking religion here. We are talking divine, and no group can take that from you. You are from source. And how I explain that, and Tammy, you might agree with this and maybe not. And if you don't, that's okay, because we just tell the truth here, okay? I look at it like, okay, you have an ocean, yes? Your ocean is a source of wonderful things. There's all kinds of different things in the ocean. We don't even know what's in there, from the blue whale to the tiny little, microorganisms that float around, okay? You take a bucket of that water out. You have a bucket of water. Is it any less part of that ocean? We are all connected. You can take your hand and take drops out of that and splinter it out. Is it any less a part of that ocean? It's going to change its energy. It's going to be absorbed into whatever it lands on, but it's still part of that ocean. You are all part of source, and we are all connected.
Exactly.
So if we are part of source, you have that light within you, and nothing can put it out, not even you.
Nope.
Not even you. So don't let anybody tell you that you're not good enough, or you're not talented enough, or you're not this enough. That is just garbage. You are a light, and you have that within you, and you can pull that out, and you can surround yourself, and you can protect yourself, and you have the power. We are powerful, enlightened beings. That's
right. And another thing, too, I want to add is that's why I like my bath bombs, because they're made with holy water. So you were talking about the shower, taking a shower. And the bath bombs kind of have the same effect for me, too. I envision, same effect. So that's just another idea, too. There's several ways to get to that place.
Absolutely.
It's just whatever works for you.
We gave a few.
The shower.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because some people need to feel it, to see it. And that's a nice one. Somebody gave me that a while back, and I said, man, you're taking a shower every day anyway. So
Right.
how cool is that? You just like
Yeah.
maybe put a little essential oil, like maybe get you a shower fizzy if you're not going to do the bath. I like to use rose. A lot of times I use rose. It's more expensive, but it's so nice. And you want to connect with angels. There's a lot to be said. And before we go any further, I would also like to tell people, angels, let me put this the right way. Angels do not belong to any one group. Angels are for everybody. No. So, do you agree with that?
I agree 100%.
Okay, so everybody has angels. Angels have been around since the beginning of time, whenever that was. They're timeless, and they belong to everybody. There's different levels and of different kinds of angels. You can look that up and study angels if you want. But it's basically like this. If you need help from your angels, all you have to do is ask. It is free will. Everybody has this thing. Well, I have a guardian angel. Why did my guardian angel let me slam into the tree? Well, if it was part of your life path to hit that tree, your guardian angel's going to let you hit the tree. Don't blame your guardian angel because you hit the tree. That's something that, however you believe, your life path, something you had to learn, something you had to go to. Maybe it stopped you from doing something worse or had something worse happen to you. It's a big picture. It's hard to see because we're tiny little people. We're all little pieces of this puzzle, and we don't have the cover to the box. So don't blame your guardian angel. But they cannot, your spirit guides and your angels and your loved ones who are there to help you as well cannot help you unless you give them the permission to help you. So ask for it. Ask for the help. Ask for guidance. Correct?
Right, I agree, 100%. A lot of times, I don't think people really understand that, but it's very important. So I try to always ask. I say prayers before I go to bed at night, or even during the day. Just make sure you're always in contact with them at all times. And
I know that you do spirit rescue, and I know you help people in homes and businesses and everything like that, and I know you help people all day long on the phone and I think that's wonderful.
Right.
And I've done that as well. The reason I'm bringing this up is, people say, well, I can't remember the prayer that I need to say, and I'm not saying it right. I'm like, honey, don't get hung up on words. Do you know how I get Archangel Michael to get something out of somebody's house? Say, hey, Mike, I need you, man.
Right. It's not, you could pretty
Do you know how quick he shows up?
Instantly. I've done the same thing, instantly, yeah.
Mike, I need you. Let's go. You bring bring everybody. Let's go. Let's get, we need to get this guy out of here. This is not going to happen any longer. But that's how I do. That's my Archangel Michael prayer. Now, there are times when I need calm and I need to connect into that, and I kind of need that rhythmic speaking. And that's when I'll do, Archangel Michael, defend us in battle, be our defense against the wicked snares, of the devil, be our defense. That's when I'll do that. But I honestly believe, and I could be totally wrong, but, it's worked for many people. I haven't seen it not work yet. That if you do not believe in what you are saying, if you've only memorized something, you might as well just do a nursery rhyme.
Well,
it should come from the heart.
About that. Yeah.
It should be from your heart. So help me, Archangel Michael, coming from your heart. Help me, whoever you're calling out to help you, help your guides, help whatever, is just as powerful because it's got the emotion and it's got the heart in it. And I just truly believe that's true. Don't you?
Yes. I've had some people where they'll say the prayers and they don't really believe it, so it doesn't work for them.
Yep. And
so
if
you have to believe.
Yeah, you have to believe.
That's where your power is.
Yeah, and if it's too wide for you to reach out and believe in things, because I don't care if you're tribal, you're Wicca, you're Catholic, you're Lutheran, you're Seventh Day, or Muslim. Your thing is your thing. Your heart is your heart. Your belief is your belief. There's not one better than the other. You're still connecting to that light within you, and that belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anybody else, even though we are all connected. So if you're in trouble or you need help or you need guidance, the best place to look is within you. Then look throughout your heart, and if that's something that you believe in, you reach out and you do it, because I'll tell you, I have been studying this for a long time. I mean, I've barely scratched the surface in 50 years. So I don't know how people have the answers after 3 years of taking a course. I just
No,
because I just don't.
Learn, right?
Oh, we're constantly learning.
Yeah.
But I want that individual out there that's listening tonight to think, they don't have to have all the answers. They've got them within themselves. And if they need help to reach out, I'd like to talk just a titch about that, because my heart it goes out to people who struggle with these things. I'm a multi-level empath. Everybody wants to stick us into all these categories. I believe that we all have an intuition. We all have these things. We get talk ourselves out, whatever you want to say. But we've all got something. And I watch animals all day long, and I look at these. The rabbit doesn't talk himself out of having a feeling that something's behind him. He runs,
right.
Or he deals with how he deals with. We all have that flight or fight. We all have the intuition. And if we can just look within ourselves and find that, once you get that and you realize that you deserve to have guidance, you deserve to have help, then you reach out and you find things. Now, Tammy was talking about the grounding. I'd like to give some people some ideas. On the website, Rescue Mediums, yes, I'm talking about the show. They've been doing it a long time, but I'll tell you what, they have a fantastic website out there, and it has about 5 different ways you can ground yourself. It has different, the ball of white light. It has what Tammy was talking about, and you can look into that. You can look on hook up with Tammy on Facebook, message her, ask her a couple things. Maybe she can give you some guidance. Find someone in your town where they're having a psychic fair, or they're doing Reiki healing classes, or they're doing psychic development classes that are real inexpensive. Maybe you can just go and observe without giving them any money and talk to some people, because everybody's individual and everybody's going to have a different path that they want to take. You might not even know what that is. Talk to some people. If you're going to go mediums and psychics and things like that, talk to some people that have gone to them. How did they feel about their reading? How did they feel about, were they comfortable? Did the medium talk to them? Did they listen? And that way you're going to be able to take one step at a time down your journey to find out about you and your gifts. Try not to just jump into something, because even meditation, when you start opening that third eye,
be ready for it.
Yeah, because that way you'll have some people to talk to that's already been through that, and they can help guide you. And if that's the route you're supposed to take, if you're supposed to get into this, or you want to develop your psychic abilities, or you want to develop whatever ability you have, it's best to have some guidance from people, just like anything else,
But go to the people you resonate with, that you're drawn to. Cause,
there you go. Yeah.
Because certain people connect with certain people. And so listen to your intuition during this process.
Absolutely. And there are going to be times where I've met plenty of people who you might have an anxiety issue, you might have a depression issue, you might have, I had a friend who was, he was full-on schizophrenic, but he was also highly psychic. And it's so hard to separate those things. So, if you need, to go to a doctor, you need to talk to somebody like that and get that end straightened out and get all that straightened out too. And then, look up into these things and see. Because it does get, when you look at it all at once, it can seem very confusing.
It's overwhelming.
Yes, very overwhelming. But if you look into yourself too, you know what's right for you. If you're seeing people coming to you because you have a light. Let's explain that a little, Tammy. If you've ever been I used to live in the rural area, and I had probably 14 acres of woods behind me. And it was just so dark when I looked out there. You couldn't see anything. And I'd flip on the back porch light, and it would take about 30 seconds for that porch light, that light bulb, to be surrounded by different kinds of flying bugs.
Oh.
So let's put it this way. If you have abilities, and you're psychic or intuitive or empath or sensitive in any way, you're putting off this light. You have this aura about you. Your divine is shining through, or however you want to call it. Beings that have not crossed over, we're talking about the essence of human beings who have changed energy and become ghosts or spirit. they're walking through this kind of like almost like a foggy darkness themselves, a lot of them. Right. And as well as other entities that were never human. And you turn on this light, there you are. You have this like turning on that porch light, and everything comes flying at you sometimes. Now, sometimes you can see it.
Exactly right.
Sometimes you can see it. If you have the ability of not audience, that's hearing. Clairaudience, you can hear them. You might just, clairsentience, you might be able to see them, they might appear to you. Everybody's got a different, ability to the way it is. I hear ones that have crossed over. I don't hear them if they haven't crossed. It's just a different vibration, and that's what I pick up. Everybody's different. But by turning on, you have that light. So it's, they see you now,
Yeah. I like to think of it as like a motel. You have your light on, the open sign, and they're drawn to you, right?
Yeah, and
they're just passerbys.
And it's so important for, if you have that ability, and now we're learning how to, we've got some outlets on how to ground and how to protect ourselves, how to cleanse. I highly recommend for you guys to look up, you just YouTube it. It's a 7-minute cleanse. It pretty much does it all. I call it a soul scrub. It's called the Archangel Michael Cleansing and Shielding Meditation. It's free. Grab it. Tammy knows it. It's awesome.
It's on my page. In fact, I posted it.
Well, there you go. Fantastic. It's on Tammy's page. But, that's a nice one. So now we're dealing with you. Now you got to deal with them. And like Tammy said, it's like a motel sign. You got to learn how to click that thing to no vacancy.
Well, yes.
So, I don't want that right now. We'll deal with that later. And everybody who's gone through this, has that way where you can shut it down, and there's that all of this will do that. You take it one step at a time. Ask your guides for help, as well, because they will. Once you start reaching out to them, they reach back. And a lot of times people say, well, what are they going to do? They're going to write it on the wall. You'll see.
No.
They pick up signs. What are some of the signs? How did they? When you started connecting with yours, how did you get that? Did you get it through dreams, Tammy?
I do get dreams sometimes, so it's kind of funny. So mostly I hear them with my intuition, but because I couldn't at first, when I first started doing all this, I couldn't really decipher if it was my own thoughts or them talking to me. So I asked them to come through. I said, please come, when you come through to me, give me a distinct, a strong voice. A strong presence, so I know that it's not my own thoughts. Now, when my guides talk to me, I know right away the difference, because it's very, so my own thoughts are kind of erratic sometimes. They're maybe like my ego's in the way, or maybe even negative, right? But when my guides come through, it's like distinct, to the point, and precise, so I can tell the difference. So it's just a matter of calming the mind, listening to what's coming through, and paying attention, most importantly. Now, sometimes they'll come to me in dreams if I'm ignoring them, I guess you could say. Because sometimes, let's face it, we don't always want to listen to our advice, right?
That's so true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So I can kind of be stubborn sometimes. So, yes, there has been times where they'll come to me in a dream, and they're just basically like, hey, look, this is something you need to look at. And then I'm like, I know when that happens, it's pretty serious, and it's something I need to take a look at. So there's that. But,
usually, if you don't mind me saying, to somebody who doesn't really sure how to decipher those dreams, a visitation dream from a loved one who's passed and comes over, or spirit guides or angels, when they give you that kind of a dream, it's usually crisper. It's usually the colors are brighter. You can usually smell, almost like taste. It's very vivid.
It's like real.
Yes.
Like a lot of times spirits come to me when I'm sleeping during the night, and I've learned to kind of, so it'll be like a dream, but it's like crisp, real, like it's really happening.
Yep.
Almost like I'm having an out-of-body experience. So I've learned when that happens, I can actually wake myself up and pull them through my dream into the reality. Now that's something, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It might help. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It might help to put like a pen and pad, because I know a lot of times I can't remember, and I'll just jot down certain things, because I had one, you're going to laugh, but I had one that had an awful lot to tell me. And he showed me, well, it was getting to be a dire situation, and I guess he was trying to get to me in other ways. I'm not sure. And it was funny because it was one of my son's spirit guides and one of my spirit guides, and somehow I knew that. and they got together in the same dream, and they were trying to show me what was going on. And he was making sandwiches. It sounds crazy, but he was making sandwiches in the kitchen, and he had all these pots boiling over. And he was just saying he's doing too much all at once. You got to tell them to slow down. And neither one of them had a face, but they were both wearing flannel shirts. They looked like lumberjacks. It was so cool. They had the rolled up flannel shirts, and I'm like, you think about it. I say that because you think a spirit guide is going to come to you and be in this like long robe and maybe look like a Merlin or something along those lines. But mine came in flannel shirts with their sleeves rolled up, and they were making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and boiling over spaghetti. So if you have a dream, if you have that kind of dream, don't discount it, because they're going to come to you the way you can relate.
They come in different ways. And I have had them come to me in robes before. But
I have too.
Right, they come in different ways.
They do. They do. But and me, I get the spirit guides in the flannel shirts making food. I don't get it. I don't even cook. What is
All right. What are you saying to me, right?
But see, my son does. See. My son does. He was a chef, so it made sense. It was like I almost felt sorry for my spirit guide, because I'm sure if I'm not cooking, they're probably not either. So it probably felt real out of place. But that's so funny. But I just wanted to say that. But it was so vivid. I woke up out of it knowing I had been somewhere, and they were telling me something, and that one I had no problem. But if you keep a little pad by your bed, or if you're not good at writing, sometimes people don't want to flick on all the lights and stuff, keep a little recorder and just say key words, so that, you're going to go back to sleep and wake up the next morning. It really happened. You don't blow it off. Yeah. Yeah, so that's...
I've actually done that, though. Wake up during the night and write things down. Like, I just get these thoughts, I just have to write them down, so that's a great idea.
Yep. And then, later on you look at it when you're a little clearer. Sometimes it comes, to fruition, where you go, wow, even if it's a number. I mean, how do you feel about, a lot of times people are asking about the angel numbers they see all the time. And the way I get it is, once you start connecting into this, because everybody listening, any kind of intuitive gift that you have, even just plain your intuition, the more you use it, the more you listen to it, the stronger it gets. It's like exercising. Yes. The first day you can do 5 push-ups. The next, by next week you're doing 20, and you're like, how did I get here? So it's going to come like that. And once the angels know you're paying attention, they're going to send you signs.
Yes.
And
numbers, synchronicities.
Yep. All the synchronicity. I remember. There was this one time that got me. Well, lots of numbers I get, and then I look them up, and I've had some pretty astonishing ones where it was like exactly what I needed to hear at that time. I didn't have to reach at all. When you start getting into this, and it is exactly what they did, and it made perfect sense, and it calmed me right down. I knew that whatever was happening at the moment needed to happen, whether I liked it or not, because it was getting me to some other place, or getting someone I loved to another place. And it gave me strength. So pay attention to that. Signs.
Yes. And signs that you're headed in the right direction, too.
Absolutely. I call them mile markers. I remember I was looking for, I can't remember what I was doing. It was a case. I honestly can't remember. But I said, Michael, you need to be with me on this one. Mike, I need you. Bring everything. Bring the spirit guides, bring their angels, bring their spirit guides, bring their loved ones. I need this. I think it was a battlefield rescue, because that was, those are hard, because you go in and everybody's all erratic and all over the place. They're still shooting, they're still fighting, they're carrying on. And I'm like, and then you've got, on the battlefield, since there's all that negativity and all that pain and all that sorrow and all that loss, you've got the negative entities that are feeding off of that. So it's kind of a hard... the battle's still going on, folks, trust me. So you've got the ones who don't know they're dead. You got the ones that, are still going through it. You got your intelligent, you got your residual, and then you've got all the things that are feeding off of that and want them to keep suffering. So I'm going in there, and I'm like, I'm an old soldier. So I'm real big on, bring all the weapons. So I'm like, all right, let's go, Mike. Bring all the archangels, bring, whatever. Bring all this. Right. And I said, I know you're going to be with me on this. And as soon as I said it, I turned the car I was driving, and I'm just doing my stuff, and I'm saying my things, and I turn, and this car cuts me, sort of cuts me off, not anything dangerous, but, annoying. It's in front of me, And I'm looking at the car, and I'm trying not to be angry because I'm not trying to bring any kind of low vibrational vibes in. I'm trying to stay up and, up and happy,
Right.
And all of a sudden I look, and the license plate says Michael.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And I'm like, well, I can't. And I'm like, I can't. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, you're not even supposed to have that many letters on your.
How does that even happen?
How does that even happen?
Wow.
And I'm
That's
thinking,
synchronicity, right?
Well, it's something. I mean, I don't
know. Something.
Or is it? Was it really a car with that license plate, or did they put that in my head that I saw it that way?
That could be, right?
Well, either way, I said, am I supposed to follow this car now? I mean, I don't.
Wow.
Either way, I knew he was.
What does that mean? Right?
Yeah. Either way, I knew he was going with me. But stuff like that happens all the time.
Wow.
Give me your coolest angel story.
Oh, an angel story?
Yeah, I want to hear a cool angel story.
Let me think here if I can think of one. Okay. Well, I do have a really good story I'd like to tell. I don't know if it's an angel story, but I just was thinking of it a second ago. So this was probably about maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. But I was at this, I talked about it on the Scotty's live program the other night.
Okay.
So I was at this zoo. It was like, one of those zoos where you can kind of you're in a trolley or whatever, and you're kind of, you're traveling through, the park setting, And so I was there with my aunt, and we were just talking about how my grandmother sends butterflies, as signs, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how many people get signs when their loved ones pass on that their loved ones are still with them, right?
Love it, yeah.
So my grandma would send butterflies. So we're in this trolley, and we're talking about this, and we're going along, and I don't know how fast or anything, but we're going, at a decent pace. And I kid you not, this butterfly just flies right into the trolley with us, and it's just hovering right there in front of us.
Beautiful.
It was just so incredible. I mean, so incredible. And we were just like, what, But it just goes to show that, spirit, our loved ones, they're always with us.
Yep.
Always.
Yep.
So sometimes I think that people, you think that our loved ones aren't with us, or, we get saddened by it, or we feel like we're alone at times. And I hear that a lot, I feel so alone and this and that. But just keep in mind that we have a team of people with us at all times, guiding us. Angels, family, spirit guides. We're never, ever alone.
Absolutely.
And it's so inspirational. So inspirational.
It absolutely is. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. The same thing here, kiddo. I agree 1,000%. I agree 1,000%. My mom, she passed in 1976. When I started noticing, I mean, it's just these different times. Here's one of my butterflies. I've got 1,000, but I'll pick this one. I had been married twice, and I'm one of those people that grabs people, and I can, try to I know I'm strong enough to help you be the best you can be, that kind of thing. Well, sometimes, as strong as we are, we're not enough, and they just decide to be destructive, and no matter what you do, and you just got to pull away. So I had gone through an awful lot of stuff, 2, sons, raising myself, and basically the whole shebang, right? I finally meet this guy, of all places. I'm a blues singer. And I go to sing. I go to this blues jam. Never been there before. And something just kept saying, you got to go. And I'm like, okay, I'm going. I thought it was because I was being pushed to get back out there because, you feel so good singing. It just is an uplifting thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. So I go. And the keyboard player was just this cool guy, and he was just so sweet how he kissed my hand and all this, and I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. You don't want to be jaded, but sometimes you feel what I'm saying. So we're going out for a little bit. I said, well, we were going out for Easter. Now, I live in the Jersey Shore, and it is, Easter falls in different times, and this was an early one. This was still in March. So we're in the Jersey Shore in March. It's cold. It's windy. There was even a little bit of rain, that misty, wet rain, and you're right by the ocean. So we go and we're walking on the boardwalk. And I remember it being so windy because my hair was just flipping all over the place. So it's really severely windy. Now we're on the boardwalk. So you've got the ocean, and then you've got your sand, then you've got the boardwalk, then you've got a road, and it's like a 4-lane road to walk across. And then you've got businesses and such, your ice cream places and things. Then houses start about a block down because this is where we are. There was a lot of businesses and stores. So you're in March in Jersey Shore. There's no flowers, right? Think about it. It's an extremely windy day. Now we're sitting on this bench, and we decide to sit. And we're looking at the ocean, and the wind is blowing like crazy. You could feel the salt air hitting your face, and even a little sand stinging and stuff that was that windy. And I'm getting ready to go, let's just go. But he starts talking to me like, basically talking his heart. And he's saying, look, I know you've been through a lot of stuff, but I, really like to stick with this, and, I don't have a lot to offer. Just speaking his heart. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, man. I've been through so much, and I just, you want to believe it, but you don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this, and I said, in my head, Mom, I really wish you were here. If you were here, you need to tell me if I need to listen to this guy or if I need to start running now. I mean, I literally said those words in my head. Right then, a monarch butterfly against the wind in March in New Jersey lands on the metal rail in front of me.
Wow.
I don't even know how poor little thing stayed there as windy as it was. I just can't. I don't know how that could happen. There's no flowers. There's no what?
Wow, how did that even happen?
It lands in front of me. And I'm listening, and I'm looking at the butterfly, and I'm smiling, and I'm listening to him. And as soon as he finished saying what he was going to say, and I said, well, I can tell you right now, because he asked me, do I have a chance? And I looked at him, I said, yeah, I think you just got your chance. And he said, was it something I said? I said, no, it's a butterfly. It's the butterfly. It okayed you, so we're going to go ahead and give it a chance. Let's get out of here.
That is something, isn't it?
True story. How do you make something like that? How do you make something like that up? Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep. So listen to those signs, people. I had a lady call me not too long ago. I know I told this on Shannon's, but it's worth telling again. She's talking to me on the phone. People always want that confirmation. Yep. Do you get that? I mean, you could have, somebody on the phone, you're doing a reading, and they'll say, well, your dad's with you. He heard you talking to him in the car.
Yes.
And they still want more. Like, well, what size shoe does he wear? What color are his eyes? I mean, they want that. Yeah. They want to be sure because they just can't believe it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We're those questionable beings. We have those questions that that's cool. But she calls me up on the phone. She goes, I wish I could believe my dad was okay. And I'm like, okay, and I'm listening to her tell the story. She goes, well, I have a feeling he's been giving me signs. And I said, well, honey, what are some of the signs? Let's talk about that. Because I always tell people, what was your gut feeling the minute the sign happened?
Exactly. I always say if you're feeling that, then listen to that.
Listen to that. Listen to that gut reaction. Did you feel good? Did it give you the tingles? Did you feel like you were connected there? Because you want to stay with that. Don't talk yourself out of it. So that's what I was trying to get through to her. So she tells me that she's talking to her phone on her sister a couple of days earlier, and they were talking about their dad, and they were talking about how much he liked Cardinals, and they were talking about this kind of thing. And they just kept talking about the Cardinals and stuff, and, I hope he's okay, and, blah, blah, blah. She gets off the phone with her sister. She gets ready to go to work. She goes out, she gets her keys, she goes out of the house, she goes to get in her car, and there's a cardinal sitting on her driver's side view mirror. And it's sitting on that. And she looks, and she takes about 2 or 3 more steps, and it's not moving. And she just stood there and looked at it for a while, and it lingered for a moment, and then it flew off. And she says, do you think my dad, because I had talked to her, I said, the cardinal isn't your dad, but they can sometimes manipulate that species, for whatever reason. I don't have those answers. Dragonflies, cardinals, butterflies, things like that.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, now, how did you feel when you saw that? She goes, I felt like my dad was okay. And I said, then why do you want to talk yourself out of that? you know?
Right.
There you go.
That.
So,
yeah, that's a sign.
Yeah, feathers, coins, just all those different things. And it's just, oh, man. And the thing is, again, for all the listeners, it's so complicated, but it's simplistic at the same time. We tend to think it's so complicated we can't wrap our minds around it. You need to bring that back down and think, you don't have to understand every bit of it, but once you start getting it, then you're going to see it more. And you're going to see it more and more because it's like exercising that tuition. Do you agree with that, Tammy, at all?
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Opening the mind up to it. And like I said, for me, meditation has been the key to, or any way you can just exercise to slow your mind down is helpful. And like you said, the more you do it, the more it happens. So.
Yeah, and once they know you're connected into it, it's like we said earlier, those mile markers, that once you start, it's almost like, I call them that girls, like if you're doing something right and then all of a sudden something will happen.
It's like the go button. Okay, you can go now. Got it. So bring it on,
It's so cool. It's so cool. And it really is, that simple. And then, we've had people too talking, like the little group that we belong to, or, when our friend Scotty's doing a live or something, and you'll see them on there and they're like, well, I feel like nobody's listening to me. I feel like I'm doing praying to my angels. I'm doing this. And, I ask my loved ones for signs and nobody's sending me anything. And I'm listening to the words and I'm going, well, honey, you're blocking it. You have got the most lowest vibration. Just because you're sad and you're blocking it. So if you start with yourself, start with yourself, connect into that divine light and open that up. And people say, well, how do you get, through that? And they said, look, grief is a personal thing. My mom died in 1976. I still grieve her every day.
Oh,
but
it takes a long time.
I found a way to do both. Yes, I miss her in my life. Yes, I miss her. I know she's around. I know she sees her grandkid. I know it. I mean, there's been so much since. But if you're going to be sad, like you're on an anniversary or something you saw, like a song or something that reminded you of them, makes you feel sad, flip that and share it with them. Like, remember this song? I know this is your favorite song. You still love this. Turn that sucker up and sing with it, like you're singing with them. Or remember a happy time you had. Remember that time we got the sandwiches and the ketchup went everywhere and we laughed? That laughter lifts your vibration and it lifts theirs.
And if it's a holiday or birthday or a special occasion, I always like to invite them in to be part of it.
Yes.
Because they are there with us.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely.
Right.
And I tell people, too, for a long time, I couldn't get to where my mother was buried. And then, I got to the point, well, okay, she's not there. Buy those flowers, put them in a vase, and while you're arranging them in that vase, say 3 nice things about that person that made you laugh or smile. Talk about the happy qualities of that person because they're going to be seeing them with you, and share them together.
Yeah.
Share them together.
I do something as simple as, like, the holidays, I'll put a little decoration out that was my grandma's.
Yes.
Just to kind of,
yes.
As out of respect to her, to show my love for her. It could be something as simple as that.
Absolutely. They see these things. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people or had people come from the other side to tell these people, tell her I saw when she, put my picture up. Tell her I saw when she...
They do see it. Yeah.
They do. And that's what they're connecting into, because when you're connecting into them and you speak of them or you think of them or you talk to them and send these thoughts out to them, they connect, your energy and their energy connects in. And they see it, they hear you. It's not like, oh, well, they were standing around and watching me while I'm in the bathroom and stuff. They got better things to do. They're busy over there.
Right, yeah.
But when you connect into them, your thoughts are powerful. And that love connection, love never dies. That connection is in there. And they connect into it. Talk to them just like you're talking to us, or, you talk to somebody else. So, I don't know how you feel about that, Tammy, as far as, just speak to them, send them happy thoughts and energy.
Happy thoughts, blessings, love, yep.
And that goes triple for your pets. Triple for your pets.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
So much easier with animals. How do you feel about that, Tammy? What's your thoughts on animal spirits?
Oh yeah. Well, the other night I was talking about on my cat Lucy, and I feel her mostly come through. But yeah, they can come and visit us. In fact, Lucy sometimes she'll come and she sleeps with me at night, or she'll come and visit. So just be open to it and ask them to come through. And love never dies. So I know people often say, well, I don't get those signs, or they feel that they're not there with them. So just keep asking, but most importantly, be open to what comes through, because sometimes they'll come through in ways that we're not expecting them to.
Absolutely.
So, just a matter of watching for those signs.
Correct. And I've heard it from, I say hundreds. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating. I mean, in the amount of time that I've been looking at this and reaching out and getting data from every which way I can. And then you take that, the things that match up, the core knowledge, throw everything else away, but the stuff that matches in I've never come across a medium, a psychic, an intuitive, anybody that hasn't said that animals pass over. It is the love connection. And animals and pets that you have had that kind of connection with, they're connected to you. And I'm going to tell you something. I believe that they are more concerned about you than they will ever be about themselves. They are the same in passing as they are in life. So when you're grieving or you're hurting or they feel like they want to help you, they're going to come. They're going to be there. And they're going to meet you over there too. I don't think that they have the cumbersome stuff that human beings have. We're complicated beings. We've got ego and we've got anger and hatred and all these other things, that jealousy and regret. That hold us, it's like having a big coat with lots of pockets, and every kind of low vibrational feeling that you have, you put another rock in your pocket.
Right.
Your regret or, grief or anger or resentment or you name them all, and you start putting them in your pockets. Animals don't have that.
No.
So they're not held back. They go bloop, and they're, and they're good to go. But they will come back. I know little Simon, he came to me in a dream, and he was blind. He had one eye, and he had a stroke, and he limped. And when I saw him 3-4 days after, he came in ghost form. I could see him walking on the bed. He wasn't limping anymore. So in that short amount of time, he must have gone over there, got all healed, got all good to go, and came over, but he was hanging for my husband, who was really grieving him hard. But he didn't even have the limp in his paw prints anymore. You know what I'm saying? The miss on the feet. And when he came to me in the dream, and animals will come in your dreams too if you ask. It usually takes a couple of nights. You ask, please come visit in my dream, and send them happy thoughts, just like I told you about your loved ones. But it takes a little bit, but they'll do one of those dreams that Tammy and I were talking about, where that's like real vivid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll come visit you. But, they get all their stuff healed over there too, so... if they were arthritic or getting older and stuff like that, they're going to be bouncing around chasing butterflies and bouncing balls and chasing rabbits and cats and hanging out. They're all cool. They're good. So,
yep.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Yeah, I just think it's sad when people say, animals don't have spirits, and I'm thinking, gosh, man, they're so
they definitely do.
They got so much more soul, It's just they're just incredible little beings. So, it's almost harder for us to understand when pets pass, to get past that, because we grieve them so. But again,
they're like family.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. In some cases, they're our best friends. I know people that's what they have, and you're going to do them a lot of good too if you just send happy thoughts to them too, and that gives them all kinds of extra energy, and they can do whatever they're going to be doing over there. But you're going to see them. They're going to greet you, and it's going to be cool. Well, darling, I'm telling you what, this has been one fantastic conversation. If you wouldn't mind, right before I let you go, I gotta get a little ghost story out of you, because we do a lot of ghost stories on this side of the gate. You got a ghost story for me?
Oh, I have tons of ghost stories.
Well, pick a couple and let me know.
Okay. Have you told the story of the one me working at where I was printing something and the ghost was in the cubicle next to me?
No, tell us. No, tell us.
Oh, okay. I was working at a state-run facility, and it was late at night. It was a very haunted facility. So it was late at night, and I was in there alone, but there was a lady in the very back office. So I'm printing something, and I'm standing there at the printer, and I hear this, like, typing at the cubicle next to me, right? I'm like, oh, that's weird. But anyway, I keep printing, and then I hear it again. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So I take 2 steps, and I kind of try to listen more. But as I took those 2 steps, the sound just traveled across over the next cubicle, because I hear, like, papers and, like, things, like, moving around, like paper shuffling, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm like, oh, that's so weird. So I kind of, take a few steps and peek around the cubicle walls. I'm like, wow, there's nobody here. Why would, As I did that, like, I kid you not, right in front of me, I heard a woman talking, and but I couldn't hear what she was saying. It was like full-on sentences, though, but it was like right in front of me, but it sounded so far away, like in a distant place, but like right there. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go back to my cubicle and grab my stuff, and then I went back to the back office to talk to this other lady, and I'm talking about some issues. I'm like, oh, by the way, I think there's a ghost back there in the back office. She's like, oh, yeah, that's our ghost. We have a ghost there. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
But it's funny, because once I opened up to seeing the signs of the ghost being in there,
right.
I noticed it all the time, and I would hear the footsteps, and people would hear the footsteps, and people would talk about it now, and they'd say, oh, yeah, we see the shadow, and because I guess there's shadow figures in there, and I started to notice the different energies in the different rooms. Like, for instance, I kind of felt that they kind of hung out in this one room. It was like a storage room, and it was kind of dark in there. So every time I would go into the storage room, the energy just was real different in there, like heavy.
Yeah.
If you just can slow the mind down a little bit, you start to notice all these signs. So it was like cold in there and dark in there and heavy in there. So I firmly believe that's where they hung out. Yeah, that's one of my stories, though.
Wow.
But
and if the listeners remember, Tammy said she didn't really start opening up to all her abilities till later in life. So this was before she started being able to go in there full on power and help ghosts cross over and stuff. And I know you have a story recently about helping one cross over. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, yes. Recently I did an investigation. I went into a home that had a spirit in it, and cleared the house and helped move the spirit on, and I was able to connect with the angels, and I actually saw the spirit crossing over. So
beautiful.
That was pretty cool. I saw the tunnel, and it did go through the tunnels.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, just confirmation that we do go to the other side when we pass. So that was pretty special. That is special.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to say here. On the other side of the gate, our little mantra is, what's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. We're all basically finding out together. There's certain things that we're really not supposed to have all the answers to, and that's fine. But if we can find the answers to be kinder to one another, to understand that our loved ones are okay, and if you want to help them. I was talking to a gentleman not long ago who said he felt so bad because there was nothing else he could do now to help this individual, and wished that he had helped him when he was here. And I said, honey, you can. Happy thoughts and energy. Just keep sending prayers up to him. Keep sending the light to him. Just laughing and joking and talking out loud and saying, happy times. It lifts them. So don't ever think that you can't do something from your heart, from your own light. Remember the different things we said about grounding, meditation, trying to find your own path, find the people that you can get around that are going to help guide you the right direction that's best for you. And, maybe you have a gift like Tammy has, and then you can help people that need a little help getting crossed over, or maybe just communicating. Aren't you now, when you go into the homes or businesses, you told me a little bit about you're teaching the people in the home for the spirits that won't cross how to deal?
Yes, we help them we teach them skills and how to handle, to work with the the spirits to help them cross over, or if it's a rising situation, how to teach them that they can handle the situation.
Right. And to be more kinder in communicating, because like Tammy and I both say, provoking a spirit just to get, things on, tape or get stuff like that, that's not always a good idea.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, see.
Always be kind and loving to the spirits.
Absolutely. And, goes for people too. And a lot of times when you get something in the house or you hear about some of these stories, there are spirits out there who are negative, and there's entities that are negative. But remember, you have light. And you're a powerful being. And sometimes just say, you never challenge, never, anything like that. But you say, you know what, this is my space, and you're not allowed here. And I'm a being of light, and no negativity is allowed here. And you'll be surprised how that works. Or, you need to leave, open a door or window and tell it physically, go, get out.
Right.
And if you need help, please research, get you, a team, or get you a medium or psychic or something like that. Maybe get a whole room full. I've had that happen.
Right.
I'll never forget the day I called for help, and I had 7. It was like the ending of that, what was that, Practical Magic, where all the ladies showed up at the end of the thing. That's exactly what it was like. Boy, I'll tell you what, they brought so much light with them. Things in there didn't stand a chance, and they cleaned house, literally. Look at reviews. Tammy has she has Enlightened Angels on Facebook. She is on Instagram. And she does phone readings. She has a beautiful shop on Etsy with beautiful angel bracelets. They have the cutest little gold-plated little angels on them, and it's, lava rock and other agates and things, beautiful colors, and they're all blessed, and they have a lot of good vibration in them, and holy water, and she's got the bath bombs, and she's starting to do her teaching classes, and there's no telling where she's gonna branch out to at this point. She's a beautiful, intuitive human being, and I highly recommend calling her if you want guidance. Her prices are extremely reasonable. I know her times are filling up. Also, look for her, friend her on the Facebook, and on Tammy Knighton or the Enlightened Angels, and try to get into one of those Facebook Lives that she's doing, because I'm telling you, it's a beautiful experience. You're usually watching with a lot of people who feel the same way, and that's another good way to get into a group of people who are kind of, on the same wavelength that you're on, and to meet some good people if you've got a lot of questions into this. As we always ask here too, if you have a story or you would like to be part of our Journey Through the Gatekeepers on Facebook, Tammy is also a part of that. And what we try to do is try to help people through their stuff, ask questions, how do you feel? We're open-minded, and if you put up a picture or you have a story, we try to help people through that, because a lot of people in there have had experiences. We try to guide each other along the journey, because it can get scary on this side of the gate, and there's a lot of questions, but every time a question is answered, that's one more thing we understand, and it doesn't seem so scary anymore. It almost seems like it becomes almost more of a beautiful thing. Once you start connecting to all those. And if you do have a story, please email us at journeythroughthegate@gmail.com, and I can read your story for you, or you might become a future guest, as Tammy was tonight. And darling, I can't thank you from the bottom of my heart. This has been a beautiful conversation.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you to everybody. Thanks for having me.
Oh, honey, anytime you are welcome on this side of the gate, anytime you feel like you'd like to.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a blessed evening, sweetie.
Thanks, you too.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, dear listeners, and just remember, keep your feet under the covers and your closet door closed, because there are things that go bump in the night.